Let me ask you this. Have you ever been walking through the library and then you realize this library kind of sucks? That's what we're trying to stop. How do you do that? By adding in a beautiful Code+Art project, which is where we come in. Nolan.
And when we're talking about Code+Art, we're talking about football, guys.
That's what
Come
we're
on.
talking about.
We got guys running up and down the field, you know. Whenever somebody enters in the library, we got some guy running in just right there along with them, you know. Somebody leaves and another guy runs to the other end of the field.
No, and that's the definition of teamwork, right?
That is teamwork.
Exactly.
Teamwork and
Finest.
synergy.
Yep.
Teamwork and synergy.
I agree.
Yeah,
That's what it's about.
And you know, Dylan, you want to tell us a little bit more about what we got going on?
Yeah. And similar to the frustrating feeling of watching some NC State football games this year, there's nothing quite like walking through the library and realizing after you walk through 4 floors that there's nowhere to sit. Every study room's taken, there's no seats available, and that's kind of the problem we try to address with this project, right, guys?
Yeah,
Exactly.
definitely.
Yeah, so the way we do that is we employ various number of technologies. Mainly we use front-end web technologies, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, that kind of thing. But we also have a delicious back-end to hook everything into the library services. I'll let Nolan tell you a little more about that.
Yeah, so Dylan actually worked on that one. So
Yeah,
Dylan,
so
I'm gonna hand this over to Dylan.
There's nothing quite like a delicious back-end, guys, and that's kind of what I worked on for the majority of this project. So right now the way it works is we just automatically put data into the database and use that to populate our field, our football field, our Code+Art project, guys. And the end goal would be to have a kind of trip laser right there by the subway doors in the library when you walk in that would count how many people enter and exit the library, and we would use that data to populate our beautiful web app. Right now, let's talk a little more about that laser, please, buddy.
All right, so the idea was that we were going to have a Arduino processing unit hooked up to just any sort of laser. You know, that's hitting a photoresistor, phototransistor, just some sort of optically.
It's a big word there, man.
Yeah,
That's a pretty big word.
Yeah,
It's all right.
Some sort of optically activated device, and then from there we would be able to determine whether or not somebody's walking in. We would have 2 of them set up on each subway gate. You know, if somebody breaks the first one, then the second one, then we know they're coming in. They break the second one, then the first one, then we know that they're leaving.
Right.
And so based on that, we would trigger something that would let the Arduino fire something off of the network. And from there, we can determine whether or not and populate the database, and then our front end the web app can then populate the football field. Ben, you want to tell us a little bit more what we got on?
Yeah, so besides the amazing back end and the really good front ends, nice to look at, that kind of thing, we just have a total cohesive package. Really, it's code meets art. That's the idea. Is how can we make code something that people want to look at? And the way we do that is we make it interactive, we make it colorful, we make it delicious, and we just attract people. So that's what our project is. We are Library Team 2, and we built the flowing football. Thank you.
Oh, hi. I'm Dylan Perry. I'm a senior in computer science.
Hey, I'm Taylor Griffin, senior in computer science.
My name's Nolan, and I'm a senior in computer science.
My name is Michael Huffman, and I'm also a senior in computer science.
I'm John Mitchell, senior in computer science as well.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm a senior in computer science.
Hey, what's up? I'm Ben. I'm a senior in computer science.
Okay, so from the very start, we wanted an idea that would be visually appealing to look at, but we also wanted a way to present someone with information that's useful in the library. And so from the very start, we were like, okay, how can we do that? So we thought of the idea of an aquarium to where, like, every time someone enters, maybe a water drop would drop down and dilute the whole color, and slowly it would turn from like blue to red or something like that. But as ideas progressed, we ended up moving on to this idea of a kind of a container of bouncy balls, to where like once someone enters, one ball would go into the container, and they kind of like bounce around, and once someone leaves, they go out, and they be less bouncy over time, colliding with each other. Issues arose with that, and we eventually moved on to this S idea that we've embraced now.
So we got the idea to do the NC State symbol as a way to tell how many people were in the library. As the number of people increased, the liquid would go up through the symbol, and when it was complete, it would be a big red NC State symbol. We couldn't really figure out a way to make the background more dynamic or user-friendly in any way, but then we got the idea to make the entire thing a football field.
And everybody loves football.
Once we finished that, we got the idea of all of the people all the people going into the library to become football players going into the S. And when they leave, they actually go out of the S, and the liquid would go down.
Hey, I'm John Mitchell. I'm here with Rebecca Schlub, and we're going to talk to you a little bit about what technologies we've looked at, as well as which ones made it into our end application. Started out with looking up a lot of SVG packages and things that people had written. We looked at a path animator project to see how to move something along a path. We looked at a lot of other things to see how to move something and make it fill up a container. We even did some stuff with displaying bubbles to show how many people were in the library. And Bregan's going to talk to you a little bit about what is happening now, like what we've decided to go with.
Alright, so far we've got CSS for most of our styling, our graphics done with Photoshop to give end users a really rich and visual experience, and MySQL for the back end to make sure everything, and so in JavaScript to automate the process and give you just a really awesome app.
Yep. The back end is using Tomcat, and Java servlet pages interact with that and our database. So yeah, we're going to do some stuff with Arduino to kind of see how we can set off our app in sort of a I guess a mock level as to what it can do in the library.
And it's going to be really extendable, so everything's set up for people, for future teams and other people to come in and make it the best it can be.
Yeah.
Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to step through some of our early prototypes here and finally go on to show our final product and show all the functionality we've added to it. Alright, so this is our first design. Remember, our initial idea was just to model some way that we can track, we can visually display someone entering the library and leaving the library. And so this first idea was just that upon entering the library, we would add a ball into this little container area, which ideally this would have been like a jar or something, so it would have been like just a jar of spheres. And they just kind of bounce around, give you something nice and interesting to look at when you enter the library. And just pretty simple stuff. But collision ended up being a little bit more than we kind of ended up biting off a little more than we could chew. So we eventually went on to kind of just drop this idea entirely. But yeah, this was our first idea. Alright, so this is our second prototype. We really like the idea of having an empty NC State logo and it kind of just filling up with color as more people enter into the library. And maybe once people would leave, it would slowly drain the color. So it's kind of simulating that jar that we were talking about in the previous prototype, to where it kind of fills up and then empties. It's really bare bones right here. This is kind of our first actual design related to our final product. We just wanted the basic idea to be object starts over here. Once it gets to the S, then the S fills up a little bit, and then when something leaves the S, when somebody leaves the building, it'll slowly drain. And that's what you see here. And here you see our final product. As you can see, we've made quite a bit of progress since the last prototype I've shown you. We added this background here, this nice football field texture, as well as a scoreboard with the current time. Changes from AM to PM. It's up to date, as you can see over here. Currently, the scoreboard will only show, it'll only represent the amount filled of the S. We planned on, if we had access to the library APIs, we would expand this to also have vacant study rooms in the library. And so instead of out of 100, it would be out of the total number of study rooms, and it would just be based on that. So right here we've added a nice little water effect, kind of simulate liquid instead of the static horizontal layer or horizontal line you guys saw before. So I'll go ahead and show you how this works. It's based on, instead of just a set timer, it would ideally be based off of a backend like a database. We've kind of laid the groundwork there. Right now I'll just show you based on clicking and key presses. I'll add some capacity to the S, and then I'll remove some to show you what it looks like. So here when you click, we've got one that comes in, and it makes that little sound clip. And so I'm going to do a few more. And once you reach the very as is, but it's also kind of nice to be able to see, or to kind of get that visual or that audio feedback when someone either enters or leaves. You can kind of tell that you're making a difference, and also it's more obvious, you know, that you're a part of this this logo, a part of this program that's working in the background. But yeah, that's pretty much our program. Hope you enjoyed it.